Hello, everyone. It's Wendy De Rosa, and it's been about a few weeks now since I've sent a newsletter or dropped into my email list, and people have been asking if everything's okay because they haven't heard me yet from post-election. And I really, I feel a little raw in talking about specifically the election. I'm not even sure that that's where I want to go, and partly because not everybody's on the same page. But everyone is on the same page around trauma and emotions that are very high right now. And for me, in the past 2 weeks, I've been running an energetic healing ER, and that's what it's felt like, and my family, and trying to nurture. Most of you know, I have a very multicultural family. My husband's Latin, and my children and stepchild are half Latin, and so there's been a bit of an upheaval in our own household and around safety. Not to mention my siblings are married interracially as well. So we've really come together on a family unit and having large discussions in my family about our existence and who we are as people and who we're standing in here to be and how to support our children and our presence, our service in the world. So that's been a big place that I've been in my life, not to mention supporting people through their own traumas and through my own shock and trauma of the state of the world as it is right now. So I just wanted to share that I'm not separate from where you may be feeling. I'm right there with you. And again, maybe you're not there. Maybe you're turning off the news and engaging in your own, being present in your own world too, and that's great. And that's there's something to really coming inward and staying true. But the important part here is that we are staying true, that we are awake, that we aren't numbing out, that we're not acting out, that we're having appropriate reactions and feelings, but that we are waking inside. And the waking experience can be painful. The waking experience can be emotional. And sometimes we have to look at the shadow, which includes our anger and our fears, and to address them, to explore them so that we can understand the roots of them, the roots of our pain. There's an experience that I've been talking about, I wrote a book about, and I'm not just talking about it, other mystics and teachers and healers and so on and so forth are talking about it, but it's this expansion experience, this waking up experience. And in the heart chakra, this is where I've been aware of this. And for those of us who might be heart people in the world, we're probably feeling the impact of the planet more so than not being heart centered. So if you are going through intensity right now, you're a very heart centered person. And so that's a good thing. What happens in the energetic system is that through grace comes in through the backside of the heart to engage, to activate our spirit, to wake us up, and to speak to us, to step in more fully into who we're here to be in this world. That experience of grace coming in through the back of the heart starts to journey into the center of the heart chakra, where us as souls commune with higher wisdom, with divine grace, and we choose to accept the mission. And what we hit up against when that journey then comes forward into the front of the heart is our traumas, the life experiences we've been through that have caused heartache and pain and grief and anger and so on and so forth. So this experience is happening deeply in the energetic system for many people. It's also happening, we're seeing it collectively, that the traumas are being acted out, pain is being acted out, hate is being visible and seen, and we're having to see it. And it's stirring more hate within us to experience the mirror of hate. It's a very challenging time to be human. But what it's also is it's causing, or it's asking of us to go into this spiritual pathway. And the pathway is to accept grace at your back right now. You're going to need it more than ever. You're needing sourcing. We're all needing sourcing more than ever. And to pay attention to that point in the back of the heart chakra where you're receiving that divine essence, and that you're receiving it into the center to wake up service, consciousness, and awareness that you are a spiritual being on this planet to be of service to this world. And your own personal quest becomes, what is that service? How am I going to show up today? What am I going to do? Am I going to make phone calls? Or am I going to hug and love my children? Or am I going to, volunteer? Am I going to write letters? What is it that I'm going to do? Maybe all of it. How am I going to be of service in these small ways in my day-to-day life and in these greater ways? And how am I going to pay attention when I'm falling asleep? When I say falling asleep, I mean going unconscious, when I'm numbing out. Where am I going to wake up in places of my life that I'm being complacent. I'm not stepping into who I'm here to be. And that is going to require all of us to go into the center of our own hearts, to understand who we are, to connect to what's being asked of us deeply, individually, on the heart level. No matter what side of the fence you are on, there is a spiritual calling from within to rise, to step into who you're here to be. Now, I want to say something about this as it relates to love. So I imagine for those of you who might be hearing this, that there's the idea is to love in the face of, other people's differences. People who think differently than you and feel differently than you. And what's interesting about love, and this might be a different perspective than what you're used to hearing, is that love isn't always the same for every person. And I hate to say it that way, but it's true. In the energetic system, love moves through all our power centers. In my heart, I may have a clear, clean love and intention for humanity. But in my root chakra, I may be blocked, and love doesn't move through that area of the body so easily. For somebody else, and I'm hypothetically speaking here, for somebody else, love may move through their root chakra just fine. So they have no problem trusting and feeling safe and being open to community and all beings, and they see the world as a place of of loving each person individually, or loving the collective. But if I were somebody where my root chakra is blocked, I'm not going to be that open. So I might be loving in my heart, but something else is going to be coming through in my lower body. It's not going to be love. It's probably going to be fear. And I'm probably going to act out from fear when in the face of love. And that may be my reality. And I'm putting this in a first-person perspective for you, but it's to understand that not everyone is loving from the same place in their system. And it's our work as spiritually conscious beings to see that, to understand that there are wounds that are acting out, and that we, as those of us who are working, are doing our work in the world to be conscious and to be awake and to be aware, is to have compassion and love for people in their wounding and in their pain. And that's hard. It's very hard to hold love for rage and anger and fear and greed and jealousy and so on and so forth. But to do that, to hold that space, means that we have to look at our own. Because really, if we're having an emotional reaction inside to someone's rage or someone's anger, and we're reacting to that, that means it's ours too. That means it's being triggered within us. So our work and on this planet right now is to wake up to our own blocks, to our own pain, to our own places in our energy system where we are not loving, where we are blocked for love, from love, and love is not flowing for us. So this is a perspective that I want to leave you with here. And I want to also share with you that spiritual practice is so important right now. Very, very important to wake up to prayer, to wake up and pray, to fall asleep to prayers. I've been wearing these prayer beads, not just wearing them, but actively chanting and praying with my prayer beads in my own practice. They've been given to me from my teacher. And there's something about holding this sacredness close to my heart that's been very protective and safe to me. So for you, maybe there's a prayer garment or a piece of jewelry that's going to remind you to come into prayer. Another practice that I wanted to share with you is that I've been writing letters to my daughter about these times so that she can understand where she comes from and she can understand who she is. For me, if I, as an adult now, I would have loved to have read letters from my mother about what was going on for her and our family at the time when I was 2 years old. That would have helped me shape and understand a little bit more about the energy I was growing up in and who I was and where I came from. And so there's something about writing these letters that feel very cathartic to me, that feel very supportive for my own process, but also knowing that I'm going to be helping her with a piece of her history. So I'm just leaving you with those two pieces, those two practices that might be helpful. And maybe if you don't have children or your children are grown, you write these letters to your own inner child. I mean, what is your story? You have a story around what's happening right now. I know you do, and it's true for you. So what's your story? And can you write it? Can you document it? And can it help you in this process, in this time, and finding yourself, finding your true self? So I send you blessings and love from my heart and lots of love and support during these times. I'm here if you need support. If you want private sessions, you can reach out to me. And my other offerings. But otherwise, I send you blessings and love on this journey. And may peace be with you.